there for quite a while, but a lot of talent for Kingsley Box, and if he can have a big game here today, that will go a long way to the Spectres, causing a bit of an upset win, I guess you'd say.
Gritchley wins the tap here for the Nunawading Spectres, and Penn has the rock in hand to start things off here. So we are underway. It is first versus third here between Melbourne and Nunawading. The rivalry continues between these two squads as a missed shot there from Lob Singer. Joshua Duran and Sam Viergiva are our officials on the floor this afternoon for this one. Sykes inside here for Bogojevic, and George Bogojevic gets the first bucket of the afternoon and will head to the line for the extra.
Great find, great cut, but an even better head fake there from Bogojevic. Knew that Lob Singer was going to try and challenge that shot and got him in the air and went up and under to finish. So a nice start here for the Melbourne Tigers.
Bogojevic is a bit more of a quieter front on the points count, but he had a really solid start to this campaign for the Melbourne Tigers. He was averaging a double-double for the better part of the first 6 or so weeks of the season. It's George Bogojevic. He's Kingsley Box, who looking to have a big game this afternoon. Couldn't get the first bucket to go for him this afternoon, and Bogojevic is away here for Melbourne. Gaze from outside, misses. Lob Singer gets the rebound and hands it off now to Penn.
He thought he was fouled on that attempt.
D'Angelo back to Penn, top of the key, guarded here by Josh Sykes. Might look for assistance or maybe go himself over the top, and that's beautiful there from Penn.
Yeah, nice action, good aggressive take, get 2 feet into the paint, get the defense backpedaling and get that shot away.
Dylan Penn opens his account, opens Nunawading's account this afternoon. Gaze inside for Bogojevic. He's going to do the hook shot over Lob Singer, and great defensive pressure there from Lob Singer. Hands it back off to Dylan Penn. Penn going to drive, got a couple to deal with, and well done there by George Bogojevic to tie up Dylan Penn. It'll be a jump ball, and possession hour going away of the Tigers.
Bogojevic making plays early on both ends of the floor. Nice bucket to get things underway. Good defensive presence there, active hands to get that tie up and win possession back for his team.
Gaze and Jack Purchase. Finds Josh Sykes, bounce pass in the post here for Mason Gaze. Backdoor cut, no good. Well done by Ben Gristy.
Didn't know Josh Sykes was a point guard, but that pass was right on the money, and so unfortunately Gaze couldn't finish it off.
Box guarded by Jack Purchase, and the back foot was out there by Kingsley Box. So frustrating start to his game this afternoon, Kingsley Box, and well done there pressure-wise by Jack Purchase.
Tigers now with a chance to scoreboard ticking a little bit more. Both teams struggling a little bit early, just the one basket apiece, and it's a great back cut, curl cut from Tom Wilson. Nice find from Jack Purchase. So better set that time, and Andrew Gaze a bit happier with that option.
Rolled in nicely for Tom Wilson. His first bucket of the afternoon. Ball in the rock in the hands of Dylan Penn. Now to Kingsley Box. Over the top to Gristy. Got 2 to deal with. Nice pass off there to Lob Singer. And it's going to stay with Nunawading. A little bit of frustration there by Tom Wilson.
Trying to save that one. Did the right thing to throw it off the Spectres player, but unfortunately his foot hit the end line before that happened.
Tipped over the top, finds Lob Singer. Back to Gristy. D'Angelo, who's really lit it up for the Spectres in season 2026. Step back shot, no good. And good pressure again by Melbourne. Over the top now to Tom Wilson. And we'll mention, it's been a while since we've seen Nunawading in the top part. Bogojevic puts that away really nicely. It's been a while since we've seen Nunawading in the top part of the ladder for quite some time. I mean, you've got to go back to year 1 of the NBL1, Tommy, where Nunawading won the championship led by Dane Switala, Simon Conn in that season, which was a fantastic year for the Spectres. And they've been trying so hard over the last 7 or so years to try and emulate what they did in 2019. And I feel that they've got the squad now, as Lob Singer's ball gets moved out there. I feel like now they've got the team potentially to try and challenge the top teams later this year.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the way they play together is obviously a recipe for success. guess the one question mark I have, and we'll see how that goes today, is do they have enough consistent offense to compete with some of these really stacked teams, and obviously facing one of them today. We know that D'Angelo can score, and we know some of his teammates can score as well, but can they do it consistently as a collective to make sure they really can contend against some of these teams like the Melbourne Tigers, like where the Sandringham Sabres are probably going to get to, you'd think. Eltham rolling, Knox at times as well.
Especially with Kelly LePepe now re-signing for the back half of the season for the Knox Raiders, which is a big in.
Yeah, but they're right there, the Spectres teams. There's a lot to like about how they've played so far this point in the season.
And I think that's why last night's win against the Rangers was much needed for them. Like, it probably benefited the Spectres more than the Rangers last night getting that victory, because, as I mentioned, they've been competitive in a handful of games. D'Angelo lets that one rip, but they've gone through a bit of a slump where, they've been competitive, but they've dropped games they probably should be winning and still should be first or even second on the table, not third. But still, third's nothing to sneeze about if you're Nunawading, but you want to make sure that you've got the adequate wins. Like, they're 9-4 for the season, but they'd rather have 11 or 12 wins to their name than just the 9 so far.
Gojevic tried to back down D'Angelo there and look for Sykes on the back cut, but wasn't quite on the money, and Spectres ball after we get the score wiped up.
Inbound here for Lobsinger for the Spectres, finds D'Angelo. Off to Dylan Penn.
It's been hard to come by so far for this Spectres team, just the 2 points. Nearly halfway through this first quarter.
D'Angelo being well guarded and well scouted in the early part of this one. Penn misses. Good tip there from Josh Sykes into the breadbasket of Blagojevich. Hands off now to Purchase. Shot off here from Jack Purchase is good. Shows how aligned this Melbourne Tigers outfit is as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
Penn gets through traffic. Bounce pass is good. That's better from Kingsley Box, and finally pops in for Box on this occasion.
Penn's really working hard to make some stuff happen, which is great for the Spectres, but he needs some of his teammates to come to the party, and it was a great back cut there by Box as Sykes gets the late whistle against Lobsinger. So that's his second personal, and he's going to take a seat now as Baxter checks in, Daniel Baxter. Giving up a little bit of size now with Lobsinger out. You've got Sykes and Blagojevich. Really got to be key to that interior defense.
15-7 and 2 were the numbers for Josh Sykes last night in the win against the Keilor Thunder. Averaging just over 12 points so far in season 2026. Sends it back out to 6 points. Here is Kingsley Box.
That's the second time in a row that Penn's found Box on a back cut from the weak side. Someone needs to be cutting Kingsley Box. He's working his way into this game, and there's a name we talked about at the outset of someone who needs to probably step up and play a little bit more consistently, as Mason Gaze with a beautiful take all the way to the cup. 12-6 Tigers.
Made that look way too easy, the third generation Gaze. Baxter to D'Angelo. Of course, he'd be definitely scouted by the Tigers to try and shut down, and so far they've done well so far. Maybe the bank's open for Christian D'Angelo on this occasion. It's not. And Gaze is away with another rebound here for Melbourne. He's going to go through the last of the Nunawading Spectres beautifully. As Andrew Cutler looks to his bench again, and
thought we might have been seeing an Amy timeout from Cutler, but he's going to trust his team to work through this.
King Hawea and, of course, Gandolfo about to come in very, very shortly. Josh Sykes doing what Josh Sykes does best.
Indeed. Getting this crowd up and about. All of a sudden, it's a 10-point lead to Melbourne, to the home team.
And Nunawading knows, Andrew Cutler knows, if Melbourne get out to a big lead early in the game, it is so, so hard to cut the deficit back, because Melbourne, when they put the foot on the gas, it's hard to try and slow them down.
Absolutely. A couple of subs coming in for the Tigers. Wilson Amos, Michael Wern. Jack Gandolfo in for the Spectres as well. And King Awaya has got the ball right now, just got fouled by Amos. No basket.
He's had a very good month or so, Wilson Amos, for the Melbourne Tigers. 23 points last night. 26 against Ballarat, 20 against Kilsyth, and then 23 against Keilor in his last 3 games. So he's worked really hard on his shooting, Wilson Amos. And I know Andrew Gaze has got massive raps about him. I've got massive raps about him, seeing him come up from Big V. The kid can play, and he's working on his shooting, has been working on his shooting a lot so far in season 2026. Wilson hands it to Wern in the corner. Thought about it. Step back shot for Wern is good. No, it's not. Rims out. And Daniel Baxter gets the rebound there. Off now to Dylan Penn for the floater. And that's better there from Penn.
Penn's going to have to start looking for his own a little bit just to keep his scoreboard ticking over. He's done a really nice job of trying to set up his teammates early, but they've not been finishing a lot of shots.
Wilson can't drain the 3. Gandolfo will get the ball off the King Hawea, and away go to Spectres through D'Angelo. Gandolfo, who can shoot from long range. Not on this occasion. Baxter kept possession. Unfortunately, found Wilson Amos from Melbourne. And the Tigers are away here through Amos. Goes to the lane and puts it in.
The Tigers really looked a sharper team early in this game, getting the shots they want, whereas the Spectres are really having to work a lot harder for every clean look. And this man, Christian D'Angelo, has found that especially tough going early on as we get a foul.
It's going to be called on Wilson Amos, a reaching foul there.
Second personal very quickly as Josh Sykes takes a rest, but Christian D'Angelo has been forced into a number of tough attempts so far. He's yet to knock one down. He will find his way to the free throw line here, and hopefully that can settle him into the game.
Gase is going to keep Wilson Amos out there, even though he's got 2 fouls to his name in his first quarter. D'Angelo drops the first one in. Kai Garnow comes in for Josh Sykes. You really want to know how deep Melbourne bat when it comes to their Big B graduate program. Kai Garnow and Wilson Amos. Great case studies of that example, Tommy.
Absolutely right, Tomo.
Garnow to Wilson. Inside the post now for Kai Garnow. He's going to put it in, can't do so. And it's going to be a Spectres ball.
Fine from Wilson there. It was a tough angle for that one for Garnow. Right under the basket. Spectres come away with a stop.
Penn dribbles up the floor. Finds Baxter, guarded here by Purchase. D'Angelo.
That's a better take.
That's much better from Christian D'Angelo.
Much better take. And I really like how Andrew Cutler's let his team work through this early offensive struggles as Amos tries to score and does draw the foul. That will be on D'Angelo. But I like, as I said, Cutler could have easily called a timeout on a couple of occasions, especially when they got down by 10 points. But he hasn't. And instead, he's let them just kind of figure things out slowly. And D'Angelo is an example of that, who's found some better looks the last couple of possessions, got himself to the free throw line, finally got a take to go all the way to the basket. And whilst they still find themselves down by 3 possessions, this Spectres team is starting to settle into this game.
Absolutely. But what I do like what Melbourne's doing to the Spectres right now, Tommy, is that the Spectres, they're taking maybe a little bit too long to set up defensively because Melbourne just like to do that quick release inbound after a bucket scored by the Spectres. Inside now for Box. Now we'll just see quickly if the Spectres can set themselves up defensively quickly, and they've done a lot better there on that occasion. But you've seen a couple of times so far in this game, the Spectres have taken maybe an extra 2 or 3 seconds to set themselves up defensively, and Melbourne have been able to take full advantage of that. Purchase. Shot off here from Wilson, no good. Rebounded here by Baxter. Now off the pen. Goes through Jack Purchase, and this is better. The last couple of sets here from the Spectres have been tremendous.
No doubt, and worked their way back into this game. It's a two-possession game now. And I really like what Dylan Penn's been able to do.
Wilson from deep 2. Garnow battles with Kingsley Box. And it's going to be Spectres ball.
Yeah, they'll have it with 2.3. Again, Andrew Cutler didn't blow a timeout. Let's see what Baxter's got here. Too long. That'll do us for in the first quarter, but Cutler did not blow a timeout, and he led his team figure things out, and they've done that now. Just a 5-point margin. They haven't played great basketball yet, Bowers. That was a watch point for me in terms of the size of this team, but King, Hoya, Gandolfo, and Baxter have all come in and had a nice positive impact to get this offense started running, as Gandolfo can't quite get it. He does get the late whistle there. That's going to be a foul on Blagojevich. Be 2 shots here for Gandolfo. You look at the box score plus minus. Gandolfo and Dyson Kinghawi are +5 in their limited minutes. Again, it could be a bit misleading, but they helped get stops. They helped move the ball down the other end. They helped get the ball into the right player's hands. And it's helped the Spectres get back into the game.
10 points and 4 dimes off the bench for Jack Gandolfo last night in the win against the Dandenong Rangers, averaging about 14.4 points per game so far in NBL1 26. And Jack Gandolfo able to get both of them to go to cut the margin back to 3 points. Rock in the hand to Jack Purchase. Bounce pass is good here for Garnow. To Amos. Purchase. Whistle called, and again, just a bit of to and froing behind the scenes, and it's going to be called on Jack Gandolfo, so it's going to stay with Melbourne. That's his first foul of the afternoon.
Andrew Cutler looks a bit bemused by that call, shall we say?
Jack Gandolfo, the exact same, Tommy. Bemused and bewildered. Gandolfo. Purchase. Over the top of Kingsley Box.
Got another foul against the Spectres here on the rebound. And that's on Dyson Kinghawi. His first. Ball stays in Melbourne, fresh 14.
Wern to Purchase, rolls in. No, it doesn't. Garnow over the top of Daniel Baxter. Kicks it off to Blagojevich for 3. He misses. And Kingsley Box could try and get out of the rut. He does. And finds Dylan Penn.
After a few bites at it, this Spectres deep. Oh! Penn to Baxter. Perfect lob. Interrupted me, but it was worth being interrupted for. But I was about to say the Spectres defense holds up there on multiple attempts by the Tigers. Doesn't hold up that time, unfortunately. Wow.
But
that Penn to Baxter lob was right on the money.
As I like to mention though, Tommy, good defense can turn into good offense, and that's what the Spectres did on that last set before they gave up the easy bucket there to Kai Garnow.
It's been an interesting game so far. You thought the Tigers were really getting on top early, up 16-6. The Spectres have worked their way back in the game. We're still lacking a bit of consistent flow for mine, but the Spectres have definitely got themselves right back into this thing.
Gandolfo uses King Hawea as a bit of a moving screen there. Baxter goes in, lays it in nicely. It's Dan Baxter looking at the officials for potentially an and one, not going to get on that occasion. Andrew Gaze calls the first Amy timeout of the afternoon, all thanks to Amy, our timeout partner in 2026. And the Spectres are really making a game of this one now here at MSAC, Tommy Hirsch.
Yeah, good time out here by Andrew Gaze, because defensively the Tigers were really on point early on in this game, and it's just kind of fallen away. The help coverage has not quite been there. There's been a few occasions where they've allowed backdoor cuts just like that one, and a few too many easy baskets. And when the Tigers' offense has slowed down a little bit here, they really need to make sure that defensively they're still connected, and it hasn't been the case for the last few minutes. So I like this timeout, and let's see what they can adjust with here, but I think it needs to start on the defensive end floor. I think they need to get the offense cracking a little bit too now. You know, Jack Purchase had a number of good attempts, hasn't really found his range yet, hasn't really got any rhythm yet. So I think offensively the Tigers need to keep that ball moving, run some of these actions that they usually run pretty well, and see if they can get a couple of cleaner looks for the likes of Purchase, Mason Gaze, Tom Wilson as well.
And you mentioned this too on the outset as well. Too, Tommy, you mentioned this on the outset. We're going to learn more about Nunawading this afternoon than we will Melbourne.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're doing that right now.
We are. Margin at 1 point in favour of Melbourne. We're out of this Amy timeout. 22-21, Wern. Passes to Amos. Bucket is good there for Wilson Amos.
There's a much-needed bucket out of the timeout there for the Tigers.
Pen.
So credit to Drewy Gaze for whatever he drew up there out of that Amy timeout.
Gandolfo.
Amos with 6 points already. Nice impact off the bench here today. Hasn't missed a shot yet.
Goes underneath the basket as Gandolfo and wins himself a foul and a shot to and trip to the line.
And that foul by Kai Garnow is just bailing out the Spectres there as Wilson will check in for the game, replacing Michael Wern. Didn't need a foul. Gandolfo was not going to make that shot. Had nowhere to go, really. So putting him on the line is a win for the Spectres.
First shot is good for Jack Gandolfo. He's now 3 or 4 from the line, Gandolfo. So he's shooting at 75% from the line so far this afternoon. Kingawea there for Nunawading. Kicks off to Kingsley Box. Rolls over. Kingawea gets on the back end of this one, and the second bite is great.
Tied ball game, Tomo. Just like that, Spectres work their way into this game really nicely. Doing it on both ends of the floor and hustling to get an O-board off the free throw there as well as Amos with his first miss. Spectres can take the lead here now, Tomo.
He can indeed, through Dylan Pan, who drives up the floor, finds Kingawea there for Nunawading. He's going to shoot from the elbow. Short on the shot, Blagojevich gets the rebounds. Finds back to Purchase. Uses Garnow as a bit of a screen there for a bit of assistance. Jack Purchase inside here for Blagojevich.
I think one too many steps. Is that the call? No?
Nope, offensive foul, I think.
All right. Third personal on Blagojevich. He's going to take a seat. Sykes in. Mason Gaze in. Christian D'Angelo and Ben Grishty back in for the Spectres.
Two players who have got bright futures at NBL level. Of course, we mentioned Christian D'Angelo at Melbourne United. We haven't mentioned Ben Grishty at the Adelaide 36ers and been able to contribute to Mike Wells' program and essentially now to contribute to the new coach of the 36ers and Trevor Gleeson and the reuniting of both Gleeson and Bryce Cotton together for the first time since they were together with the Perth Wildcats all those years ago, Tommy.
Very exciting times, the Adelaide 36ers. They were very close to winning a championship this past season and
took the Kings to OT in that Game 5 game as well. Jump ball called.
And so, yeah, a lot to like about what they're building there in Adelaide.
It's going to be a Melbourne ball here on this occasion. Jack Purchase going to take the inbound here from the sideline. Hands it off to Mason Gaze. Wilson. Amos. Now Jack Purchase try to go inside the post there for Tom Wilson. Both him and Dylan Pan hit the deck. Both men are okay on this occasion. And the foul will be called on Dylan Pan.
First.
It's been a good battle between Tom Wilson and Dylan Pan in this game. Amos. Sykes to Wilson. Top of the key here for Melbourne. Gaze, bounce pass is good for Josh Sykes.
Shot blocked down too. Gay's got to let it fly.
Unfortunate there for Mason Gaze, and rebounded nicely here by Daniel Baxter. Baxter to Dylan Penn. Now his pass is good inside the post now for Dan Baxter, and that's an easy bucket there inside the paint. And a reach in there by Kingsley Box, trying to pickpocket Tom Wilson. He'll be picked up for that foul there, and that's his first foul of the game.
And it's also bonus free throws for Tom Wilson now, which is not a smart play by Kingsley Box, especially when Wilson is very quiet offensively. You don't want to give him a look at anything free or cheap, which is what he's going to get right here. Now into the bonus very early in this second period.
Fine stuff from Tom Wilson. From him this afternoon. 3 points and 1 rebound to his name so far. We know Tom Wilson, once he starts putting down buckets, Tommy, he can get hot very quickly.
Indeed.
4 points now for Wilson on the afternoon. And we're all tied up again here at MSAC. Penn drives to the cup easily there.
Great take from Penn. Off a made free throw, found a transition opportunity. And that's just putting your head down and trying to beat your opposition. He did it beautifully.
Wilson. Gaze in space. Misses. Baxter with another rebound to his name.
Some good looks, the Tigers have not been able to find the range. In fact, they're yet to hit a 3-ball here today. 0 for 6.
Box to Penn. Dylan Penn thought about it, goes inside for Ben Grishty.
3 seconds in the paint. Good defense there, Tom Wilson. Helping to create that stop as Owen Lobsinger checks back in. Daniel Baxter takes a seat. Baxter gave them some great minutes coming off the bench. Lobsinger comes back in with his 2 fouls.
A handful of rebounds in that second quarter too for Dan Baxter. He's up to 5 boards for the game. We'll see what Lobsinger can do coming off the pine now, back onto the floor.
I think that's going to be a foul on Penn holding off the ball. It is, and it's going to send Wilson back to the line.
And as you mentioned, Tommy, that's the last thing you want to do if you're an opposition team, is send Wilson to the line for cheap points.
Second foul on Dylan Penn. Just having a word with Coach Andrew Cutler right now about how to better defend that back cut from Tom Wilson. It's an action they run a lot at the Melbourne Tigers.
15 points last night against the Keilor Thunder. Tom Wilson, 6 boards, 4 dimes, and 3 of 3 from the foul line this afternoon. To tie things up again. Does so.
So Wilson, who's had struggled early, has made 4 straight free throws and seeing some shots drop finally.
Penn sees that ball go out. Last came off Wilson Amos. And he'll stay with the Spectres. 16 on the shot clock as we call an Amy timeout. All thanks to Amy, our timeout partner, Tommy Hirsch.
We do indeed, called by the Spectres, and a chance for Andrew Cutler to draw up a play here. It's a crucial part of this game. You know, neither team has really stamped their authority on it, and both of them have looked like they've been in control at certain times, but we are dead tied with just under 5 minutes to play in this first half. And so it's a great opportunity for the Spectres to try and get a good bucket out of an ATO, as we call it, an after timeout play here. Cutler will draw one up. And while he's doing that, we're going to take a moment to thank our wonderful sponsors and partners for the NBL1 right across the nation. Of course, the naming rights sponsor, Mitsubishi Motors Australia, Amy, who brings you the timeouts, Foot Locker, who brings us our player of the game, Choice Hotels, Red Bull, sponsor of our energy moment, KO, bringing us this wonderful action here today, KO freebies, and Intix for all your ticketing solutions, and also a shout to RSL Victoria, who support the wonderful officials here in the NBL1 South Conference. Thanks to all those fantastic partners. And of course, if you want to vote for the Red Bull Energy Moment, go and check out the NBL1 app or the NBL1 website, nbl1.com.au. You can get out all the highlights, replays, stats. It's all there at your fingertips. A great way to stay in touch with what is going on, not just in the South Conference, but all across the country, Tomo.
Absolutely, and you can catch the NBL1 show each and every week with Matt Hickey and Beck Cole, who do a fantastic job looking at every single conference across the country. And you can watch that via the socials and, of course, on YouTube each and every week. As we're out of the Amy timeout, And Dill Penn's 3-ball goes missing on that occasion. Now to Wilson. Guarded by Kingsley Box, Tom Wilson. Got a couple to deal with. Goes inside for Josh Sykes.
Like it. Wilson's been threatening the defence, keyed on him on that action, and that opened it up for the lob to Sykes. We knew we'd get one eventually here today. And Sykes gets on the floor and brings another possession for his team.
They've turned this ball over, have Nunawading. And as I say that, Melbourne do the exact same thing there, Tommy. It's unfortunate because they were off to the races.
Burgess looking for Mason Gaze.
Gandolfo comes in for Dylan Penn. He's had a frustrating couple of possessions, Dylan Penn, so probably an opportune time just to give him a bit of a spell. As Kingsley Box lets rip from long range, and that's much better from Box.
Jack Burgess upset at himself for not being closer to Box on that attempt. He knew he was there. You got to be attached to those shooters on those sorts of actions.
Amos to Sykes, now to Gaze.
Foul off the ball here. This goes against Christian D'Angelo. And again, it's going to be bonus free throws for the Tigers. Second personal on D'Angelo.
And you talk about restricting your prolific shooters. Christian D'Angelo's only had the 3 points, shooting at 20% from the field this afternoon. So he's been well held, and this is well below expectations for someone like D'Angelo.
He's been forced into some really tough attempts. The defensive scout of the Melbourne Tigers has been on point in terms of slowing him down, and it's been left to others like Penn, like Box, to create offense. Wilson again now, he's a perfect 6 for 6 from the free throw line. 6 of his 8 points from the charity stripe here in this second quarter.
Here's D'Angelo, can he make amends? And he travelled on this occasion, not happy with the calls. Christian D'Angelo, a very frustrating last 2 possessions for Christian D'Angelo. Gives away a foul to Tom Wilson and then goes and travels as he leaps up for a layup shot.
And even with all that said, Tomo, it's still just a 1-point game. Again, need the team able to stamp their authority just yet.
Bit of a chess match out on the floor this afternoon, isn't it, Tommy?
It really is.
They're just taking their time with their moves. Not using all the big moves just yet. Wilson makes a big move himself and hits a nice 3.
His second field goal of the game. Good hands from Amos there, and Wilson as well, and to force the turnover against Gandolfo. Ball back to the Tigers. Gandolfo pleading for a foul. Elliot Green telling him it's not his call. That was Sam Vigava.
D'Angelo just been given a warning by the officials. D'Angelo's still having a conversation with the officials. He's got to be careful. He doesn't want to give a tech away. I know it's been a frustrating game for D'Angelo so far, but the last thing you want to do is give away a tech foul. Amos, Purchase, Wern. Sykes. Purchase. Wilson, same position, same results.
And that's what happens when you let a player who's struggled for attempts, for good clean looks, as Lobsinger can't connect, you let them get to the free throw line and find some rhythm. And all of a sudden, Tom Wilson is in complete rhythm. And these last 2 3 balls are a prime example of that. Wilson now leads all scorers with 13 points.
Yeah.
And he has 11 of them in this quarter.
He does indeed, as we see another aiming timeout called this time by Andrew Gaze. As you mentioned, Tommy, Tom Wilson, who had a very quiet start to this game. If you just joined us, 11 points so far in the second quarter.
That last one was a long 2, I have to say. Not a 3, but still a great shot nonetheless.
It was in the same position as well.
Yep.
It yielded the same result, which was a bucket.
Yep, and all of a sudden Wilson up to 50% from the field after knocking down those 2 field goals. But more importantly, he's feeling good about himself now. He's got that flow, and the more he gets going with his own shot, the more the defense has to close out on him strongly, and that's going to allow his passing game to get going. We've already seen 1 lob to Sykes. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more, or some drive and dish kick to the likes of Purchase or Gaze as well. It just opens up his entire game, and therefore opens up the offense for the Melbourne Tigers.
5 turnovers to 1, by the way, in this second quarter in favour of the Nunawading Inspectors, and a couple of those turnovers have converted into points for the Melbourne Tigers. So Melbourne able to take full advantage of the turnovers yielded by the Nunawading Spectres in this game. They lead the turnover count 8-2 on the stat sheet to the Spectres. So definitely something for Andrew Cutler and the guys to clean up in the second half and definitely look at half time, as we're now into red time here in this first half. The inbound here was good from Amos to Wern. 6 points for Wilson Amos in the afternoon. Purchase gets it from Sykes. Goes over the top to Sykes again.
That rim is still rattling after that Josh Sykes throwdown. His second alley-oop dunk of this ball game, of this first half.
Gandolfo. Grishti. Box. Gandolfo. D'Angelo goes inside for Ben Grishti, who's got the deal with Jack Purchase. In space, Kingsley Box. That's better. Much better there from the Spectres and much better from Kingsley Box.
It was indeed. Tough hit too, because Sykes was flying right at him, but Box knocks it down. That's his second triple of this quarter.
12 points now for Kingsley Box. Amos. Purchase, step back shot. Doesn't roll in. Grishti gets the rebound here for the Spectres. Hands off now to Gandolfo. Over to Lob Singer.
He knocks down the triple. The Spectres right back in this thing now. 2-point game. Great contest.
39-37 as we tick into the last 75 seconds. Tom Wilson gets a nice triple to go down. He's up to 16 points, 14 in this second quarter alone for Tom Wilson.
This game is really opened up now. Both teams started 0 for 6 from 3, and Tigers made their last 2 in a row, and Spectres knocked down a few as well.
Lob Singer had to step back here, and it's nice.
A lot more free-flowing now is this ball game. Inside the last minute of the first half now, Tomo.
And we called it the chess match about 5 minutes ago, Tommy, but as you mentioned, definitely prefer what it is now, which is more free-flowing. Wilson drives, try to go inside there for Josh Sykes. Sykes will get his hands on it. Had to just put it up and hope for the best and couldn't get it to go. And the Spectres have now 3 seconds between shot and game in this first half.
We're going to hold for pretty much the last shot here. There's about a 3-second difference between shot and game clock.
Use Grishti as a bit of a screen here for Gandolfo. Copped a bit of contact by Josh Sykes. Didn't deter Gandolfo though. Wanted the M1, not going to get it. It cuts it back to 1 point. Wilson might have the last laugh in this first half. And it's wayward on that occasion. So at half time, Melbourne looked like they were going to create a little bit of a buffer, Tommy. And credit to Nunawading, now able to get that one back, and they only trail by 1. Melbourne lead this one as we turn into the half-time break. 42, Nunawading 41 on this occasion.
And it's amazing what seeing 1 or 2 threes go down can do for your team's
resources into player signings and their programs, isn't it?
The tighter it is, the better it is, especially with the new finals format this year as well, Tomo. So there's a lot to look forward to in the second half of this season as Kingsley Box stays hot and gets us underway in the second half with another triple. That's his third of the game. He's now 3 out of 4 from long range.
Puts the Spectres in front. That's Kingsley Box, Blagojevich. Gaze to Sykes. Guarded by Ben Grishti. Sykes goes up. Beats Grishti to the pump.
Great baseline spin from Josh Sykes there, and 2 hands for safety once he got up to the rim.
Ties things up. D'Angelo, Dylan Penn. Back over to D'Angelo. Bounce pass is good. Here for Lob Singer. And Gaze gets the rebound here for Melbourne. Hands off onto the wing now for Blagojevich. Finds Wilson. Wilson short on the shot there from Tom Wilson.
Short, uncharacteristically.
D'Angelo. Floater. Misses. It's been a very frustrating game for Christian D'Angelo, hasn't it?
1 out of 6 from the field now, and has not found any kind of consistent offense.
Sykes tried to go in. Purchase tried to go in for Sykes and was tipped away nicely there by Lob Singh. He'll stay with Melbourne with 11 on the shot clock. Of course, Mason Gaze spoke to NBL1 during the week too about what heritage means to him and his family, especially from the Melbourne Tigers, and him growing up in the Melbourne Tigers fraternity. Of course, Lindsay, absolute legend of the game. Andrew Gaze, no context needed. And Mason trying to carve his own path as well. Not only in basketball, but also at NBL1, trying to be a legend of this competition at least.
Great finish by Dylan Penn. Unlucky to not get a foul call there as Wilson lobs it to Blagojevich down the other end. Sorry, Tomo, you're making a great point about the Tigers, but a lot of really nice plays in the meantime.
He's been Grishti for three. Drains it nicely. It's been Grishti to put the Spectres back in front.
But that Tigers legacy is such a strong one, obviously, with the Gaze family being so prominent in it. I remember when as a Tigers junior, Lindsay would come down to our training once in a while and run some sessions for us, and it was always a treat to learn from the master, and then you'd look forward to going to watch Gaze and Copeland on the weekend as a Tigers junior player in the NBL. So it's such a strong tradition. It's great to see Mason continuing that here at NBL1 South.
Foul called, and it's going to go away to Christian D'Angelo. And as we mentioned too, as you mentioned at the outset too, Tommy, the rivalry between Melbourne and Nunawading bats very, very deep. Bats deep back all the way to the 80s.
It does. I mean, you think back to some of these legends of the game, and you know, even before Gaze, even before Copeland, you know, Gaze and Ray Gordon, who I think was here earlier today, he might actually be here somewhere still. Nigel Purchase, who I believe is in the stands watching his son Jack play. And then on the Spectres side, you think back to like the Darren Perrys, Darren Lucases, Dean Utoffs, these sorts of guys that were synonymous with the Nunawading Spectres teams back in the day. Some great games in the early, late 80s there as Wilson gets all the way to the cup. Carson Margin back again. So 3 points. There is Nigel Purchase. I've spotted him now in the crowd. He's watching, as often tends to do.
We shot there from Dylan Penn. Speaking of Purchase, here's his son Jack with ball in hand. And Jack dranked it nicely.
Bang. Dad likes that one.
Ties things up at 51 apiece. 5 points now for Jack Purchase. A bit quieter by his standards this afternoon, Jack. Here's Grishti.
2 in a row. So all of a sudden, offense opening up for both teams here in this third quarter. Much more free-flowing. 13-9 so far in favour of the Spectres here in this third period.
Oh, Grishti gets the steal there from Josh Sykes.
I don't think that pass was ever getting through from Sykes.
Lob Singer.
Oh,
almost a goaltend, I'd say, there from Josh Sykes. Very aggressive, but the Spectres get another triple to their name.
And that was D'Angelo, who really needed to see one go down. What is being talked about here? Or are we just getting a floor wipe? I think we're just getting a floor wipe, okay.
But yeah, Josh Sykes was very lucky, though, because his hand was so close to the basket there. It was very it would have been called a goaltend. And that was just the pure frustration from Josh Sykes, because Ben Grishti read that nicely then, took the pass from Josh Sykes and made something happen on the other end.
Josh Sykes just threw it to be honest.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great pass, and I think Josh would admit that when he watches that one back. But he certainly made up for it on the other end with that spectacular block.
He did. Blagojevich. Purchase. Can't get the deep two to go. Blagojevich tips it back over to Wilson, and they keep possession. Back over to Blagojevich. Nicely done there by Grishti.
He's made a couple of nice defensive plays as Grishti now.
Box.
Getting in the way of passing lanes.
Shot here for D'Angelo.
Again. And there's an Amy timeout for Andrew Gaze, and you do not want to let Christian D'Angelo get rolling. He's a leading scorer for this Spectres team, and all of a sudden, after struggling for much of this game, he's knocked down back-to-back triples, and the Spectres have blown this thing wide open, Tomo. It's a 9-point lead, just like that.
They have indeed, and as I mentioned to you, Tommy, with Christian D'Angelo and with the Nunawading Spectres, we're going to learn so much about this squad this afternoon, and while we're learning a bit about them right now against a team that will be contending for the premiership yet again in the Melbourne Tigers.
Well, we are indeed. So great run out of half time here from Andrew Cutler's men. 9 points is, I believe, it's the biggest lead of the game so far. I'm just going to check that. It's the biggest lead for Nunawading. The Tigers obviously led by 10 in the first quarter. So a really nice way for them to start. And again, what's most important is you get D'Angelo rolling now with a couple of shots, and then all of a sudden the defense has to close out a bit further. It can open up some driving lanes. It just opens up a lot more for them offensively overall.
And if you just joined us too, at halftime, Chris D'Angelo only had 1 of 5 shots from the field and only had 3 points to his name. He's had 8 points so far in this third quarter.
Indeed.
As both sides make their way out of the Amy timeouts. And Baxter just having a conversation with Ben Grishty, who's been absolutely on fire defensively for the Spectres in this third quarter, Ben Grishty. And if you're Trevor Gleeson, you'd be loving what you'd be seeing from Ben Grishty as well, about what he can basically bring to maybe the 36ers outfit in 2026-27. Gaze over the top of Sykes. And a foul's been called to be picked up here on Ben Grishty.
Excuse me for getting a bit excited, but Josh Sykes' left hand was above the square on the backboard on that attempt. That is how high he jumped. He goes to the line for a pair of free throws.
Not bad for an athletic 6'9".
Quite finish it, but that was a spectacular attempt.
Well, Sykes rolls the first one in. Of course, when you speak of championship credentials, Josh Sykes has been to the mountaintop, 2024 champions with the Eltham Wildcats in that famous Wildcats lineup featuring Angus Glover, Owen Foxwell, of course. Angus Glover making his debut for the Kilsyth Cobras last night, which is...
Kept that under wraps, didn't he?
Yeah. Which screams it's going to be a scary-looking Kilsyth outfit with Dylan Stipe and Angus Glover in the exact same team.
Yep.
And if they can match what Glover and Foxwell did at the Wildcats in 2024, you can throw Kilsyth's name in the hat too for championship credentials, Tommy. Turnover here by Nunawading. Melbourne will make a pay on the other end. Easy roll in there from Mason Gaze.
Great running from the Tigers there in transition as soon as Blagojevich picked that one off, and they had 4-on-2 by the time that play ended.
D'Angelo gets through. Oh, that's silky. Blocked away by Sykes nicely. What a block by Josh Sykes.
I thought D'Angelo had that one, and Sykes came out of nowhere. He's going to take a seat.
As Wilson Amos checks back in for Josh Sykes. I think the sponsor board in front of us has had is done for the day.
Yeah.
D'Angelo, hook shot is good.
Easier for D'Angelo to get away when Josh Sykes isn't working. He'll take it. D'Angelo's really stepped up in this third quarter, and he's got the job on Tom Wilson down the other end as well.
Wilson, purchase, top of the key. Finds Gaze. He's going to put it up here.
Just a tad short on that attempt. Tom Wilson has just the 2 points in this third period after putting up 14 in the second.
Just away nicely there by Grishty, but ended up finding Tom Wilson instead. Tom Wilson held there by Lobsinger, and he's won himself a foul and go ahead to line for 2.
Push by Wilson in transition there, and right after I talked about him being a bit quiet in this third period, but he's so smart at getting himself to the free throw line. And continues to keep that scoreboard ticking over by doing things like that.
Lobsinger's going to check out for the time being, and it's going to send Tom Wilson to the line. Dan Baxter checks back in for the Spectres. Wilson drops the first one down. So it's been a 21-13 swing in this third term in favour of the Spectres. And now Melbourne just having to try and climb the mountain a little bit just to get back in this one. They trail by 2 possessions against a very plucky Spectres outfit this afternoon here at MSAC. D'Angelo, who got hot in the first 90 seconds, continues to get hot in this third quarter. draws his foul. He's going to head to the line for an extra. And what a great third term Christian D'Angelo has had after what was a frustrating first half for the leading score for the Spectres, Tommy.
Fantastic impact, and that's the third foul on Wilson as well. But D'Angelo's done it in a variety of ways. We saw him hit a couple of triples. His drive into the basket that time was a nice cut across the paint to finish with a bit of a hook shot, really, and absorbs the contact and knocks down the free throw for the three-point play. So D'Angelo now up to 16 points. He's the leading scorer now for his team.
And we talk about players who started slowly and then got hot quite quickly. Tom Wilson got that in the second quarter. Christian D'Angelo's gotten that in the third quarter. Missed shot there from the Tigers.
Spectres looking to run again here.
Look at Pan. Nice Wills. Kicks it off now to Grishti. He misses. Wilson with the rebound. Beats box to the ball and cops a foul from Dan Baxter for his troubles.
Second personal foul on Baxter. Third team foul on the Spectres here.
24-14 run in this third term in favour of Nunawading. Amos, Purchase, Wern. Wilson. That's much better from Tom Wilson. Up to 23 points now for the game and cuts it back to 2 possessions. Penn rolls it nicely here for Grishti. Back to Dylan Penn. Had to deal with Bogojevic and now Wilson.
Great D from Wilson, and that's going to be a travel call on Penn.
The travel was called and Dylan Penn not too pleased. But as you mentioned, Tommy, great defensive pressure from Tom Wilson on that set. And Melbourne get possession back.
Grishti takes a rest, and Dyson King-Hawea back in for Nunawading. It's the Tigers now trying to make a mini run.
Bogojevic.
9 a moment ago.
Wilson, nice finger roll in. Cuts back to 4 points.
Wilson all of a sudden has 9 points in his third quarter, so much for keeping him quiet.
Penn can't get the 3-ball to drop. Wilson Amos gets the rebound. And Wern's away here from Melbourne. Wern with a ball pass. Wasn't the intended target. Amos caught himself up in that one. Handed off the Purchase, and Purchase missed it with a 3. Now possession's back here with Nunawading through Dylan Penn. And a foul's being called. It'll be called on Wilson Amos. And it'll be Amos's third foul of the game. 3 team fouls for Melbourne, 3 team fouls for Nunawading, and we're about to tick into the last 2 minutes of this third quarter.
Dylan Penn takes a seat for Nunawading. A little frustrated with how the last couple of minutes have gone. Gandolfo back into the game.
D'Angelo from outside, misses. Garnow with a great rebound there for Melbourne. Hands off now to Wilson Amos. Amos, short pass is good for Wern. Now to Wilson. Guarded here by Kingsley Box. Wilson going to go long range 3. Garnow got 2 to deal with.
It's going to be a foul on Garnow. Swiping through the arm of Dylan Baxter.
The right intention there by Kai Garnow, but fortunately 2-on-1. If you're the one on the situation, you're probably going to lose most of the time anyway against the 2.
Second foul on Garnow. It's the 4th team foul on the Tigers. It's a bonus for the Spectres now.
And Dolfo dribbles up the floor, finds D'Angelo. Goes inside for King-Hawea here for Nunawading. Puts it in nicely. 6 points the margin.
Great quarter for the Spectres.
26-19 run in this third quarter for Nunawading. Wilson, Purchase, long range 3, hits the front iron. Amos tried to keep possession, ended up finding D'Angelo's mitts instead. D'Angelo going to try and get through Jack Purchase. It can't roll in. King-Hawea with the second bar of the cherry. Gets it again as King-Hawea. Kicks off now to D'Angelo for a 3-ball. He misses. And on this occasion, no good here for Nunawading.
Ball will go to the Tigers. We've got a flop warning. sure who that was against. Was it against D'Angelo, maybe?
Not too sure. It's with Purchase nonetheless here for Melbourne. Off to Wilson. Amos. Garnell goes inside here for Amos. And the foul will be called on Christian D'Angelo.
That'll be the fourth team foul on the Spectres. It's the third personal on D'Angelo. So both teams in the bonus for the rest of this quarter. Only 39 seconds left.
Going to send Michael Wern for the inbound here from the baseline here from Melbourne. And D'Angelo going to check out.
Yeah. Make sure he doesn't pick up a fourth here cheaply.
Wern to inbound. Finds Purchase. Step back shot for Jack is good.
Nice take that time from Purchase. Aggressive one and also a 2-for-1 opportunity for the Tigers here.
Backs to the box. Now with Dylan Penn. Goes over the top and that's clean there from Dylan Penn.
Tough hit right in the face of Wilson.
Chance for Amos and Melbourne to get one more opportunity at a bucket here before the end of the third. Purchase might be that one, and Purchase draws his foul at the very last moment. And in similar vein to the women's game earlier, when Nunawading did that to Melbourne, you don't want to give away cheap shots to the line with 0.9 seconds left.
Baxter doesn't like the call, but it was the right one. It was definitely there, and it was a really smart take by Purchase, knowing that the clock was running down, knowing the defense had to key on him because no one else was going to get the ball, and he aggressively got into their space and gets himself to the free throw line here. Clock's been reset to 1.3. The Spectres have a tiny bit more time here, but they've got to secure this defensive rebound first.
Purchase misses on the first. Makes good on the second. And Nunawading will head into three-quarter time, leading this one by 5. 69, Melbourne 64 as we turn for home.
Penn on for the Spectres to start this fourth quarter. It is Heritage Round, Tomo. We are at Melbourne Sports and Aquatic Centre. It is your KO game of the week, and it is proving to be a fantastic game.
Absolutely. Two cracking games here at MSAC, and you've witnessed it here on KO Freebies this afternoon. Wilson gets the first bucket to go and cuts back to 3 points.
Like we spoke about, he's going to have to put this team on his back, and whether it's him scoring or creating, the ball needs to work through Tom Wilson's hands here in this fourth quarter.
Especially with Jack Purchase on 5 points. Josh Sykes, I think, is also rolling a little bit. He's got 11 points to his name as Spectres cut it back, extend it back out to 5 points.
Tough hit there from Dylan Penn. Well contested by Sykes, and Penn continues to find a way just to make things happen.
Mate, you're right, Tommy. Tom Wilson's going to have a barn-burning fourth quarter to, as you mentioned, put this team on his back, which he's doing already. 29 points. Yep. He's got to get at least 40 points for maybe Melbourne to get over the line, I'd say, in this one with the way Nunawading are playing right now. Baxter rolls it in, can't do so. Wilson gets the rebound back. Hands off now to Purchase. Can he come to the party? He can't.
Bodies flying everywhere.
Wilson caught underneath the sneakers of Kingsley Box.
And the ball's been awarded to the Spectres. The Tigers don't like it. They're looking for fouls. They're looking for it to be out of bounds off Nunawading. Referees say last touch by Wilson Amos, and Josh Durand is having none of this back chat for the Melbourne Tigers right now. He's our crew chief today.
One of our most experienced officials.
Absolutely. So the ball back to the Spectres after all that. They lead by 3 points.
Foul called.
That was on Wern. Just his first.
Box to inbound here for Nunawading. In the hands of Dylan Penn for the Spectres. Baxter. Back over to Dylan Penn, who had a cracking first half. Loses it. And a foul's been called. And it's called on Josh Sykes, and it's going to send Dylan Penn to the line for two. Much to the dismay of the Melbourne Tigers faithful.
I like the way Dylan Penn continues to attack against Josh Sykes. Doesn't worry him that Sykes has size and length on him, that Sykes is an elite shot blocker. He's getting into his body. He's trying to create separation. Get himself to the free throw line there where he's knocked down the first. 15 points now for Penn. His first free throw attempt of the game though, which is a little surprising to me the way he's played, but very nice afternoon.
Dylan Penn makes it a 5-point advantage in favour of the Spectres. Wern, guarded here by Gandolfo. Wilson to Purchase, has had a very quiet afternoon by his standards. Wilson gets over the top and beats Dylan Penn to the punch. 31 points now for Tom Wilson.
Penn lost his balance and Tom Wilson said thank you very much.
Penn inside for Baxter. Got denied by Josh Sykes.
Elite
Ball rolls
timing
out
on that shot block there from Sykes. Wilson looking for a foul call.
What a block by Josh Sykes.
Yeah, huge. Only block number 2 according to the box score for Sykes. I reckon he's had a couple more than that. He's certainly changed a number of shots.
Wilson goes over the top here for Purchase. Guarded by Baxter. And wins a foul here to Jack Purchase, so he's going to go back to the line for two.
I really like that from Jack Purchase. He's struggled offensively today, hasn't really had the range. Just 3 of 10 from the field through the first 3 quarters, but continues to back himself in. He doesn't take bad shots. He gets himself into a space where he can find a good shot, and he backs down his opponent. And if that means working his way to the free throw line, he's done this year. He's very happy to do that.
2 or 3 from the lines this afternoon for Jack Purchase. 3-11 from the field. Of course, he's got 9 points to his name this afternoon. Make that 10 points now for Jack Purchase. Lobsinger checks in for Dan Baxter. And we'll take the inbound here for the Spectres as Melbourne cut it back to 1. Hands to Lobsinger. Box in a bit of space. Rims out. And rebounded here by Wern. Wern's away here for Melbourne. Bounce pass is good for Amos. Over the top. Try to find Tom Wilson. And Wilson wins himself a foul.
Fouls against Penn. 3rd personal.
Wern to Wilson. Wilson from the corner. Rims out. Lobsinger gets the rebound. And away go to Spectres. Kingaraya. Now to Gandolfo. Back to Dylan Kingaraya. Can he put the bucket in? He can.
Nice little head fake there to get Sykes to bite early. And that made it for a much easier attempt there for Kingaraya.
Purchase. Sykes. Amos to Purchase. Inside nicely for Tom Wilson. Wilson up to 33 points for the game.
Nice off-ball screen action to get Wilson free. And
Wilson
Amos fights and wins the possession back for his team.
Well done by Wilson Amos. Purchase in space.
And that is how you turn defense into offense. Started with Wilson Amos coming up with it. Wern found his man in Jack Purchase. He's struggled today as Purchase, but when you're that wide open and you've seen a couple free throws go down beforehand, you got a bit of rhythm. And if Purchase gets going now, there's another weapon for Tom Wilson to utilise. Advantage right back to the Melbourne Tigers, Tomo.
And that is Jack Purchase's second 3-point shot successful 2 of 5 for him this afternoon. 13 points, now he's up for the game. And Melbourne, even better, Tommy, they've got the lead back from their perspective after Nunawading. We're looking like that they were going to blow this one out.
13-6 so far in this fourth quarter. We knew the Tigers would make a run in this fourth quarter. That's the way this game's gone today. And it's been a lot of Tom Wilson so far. He's got 8 points already in the fourth quarter. But Jack Purchase starting to get himself going a little bit as well. He's got 5 points in this third quarter. He's also got 2 assists. He's got 8 assists on the afternoon, Tomo. So whilst his shot hasn't been falling consistently, he has found ways to contribute. And that's been big in firstly keeping the Tigers in the game and now helping them to have this little run to take the lead back. And out of the Amy timeout for Andrew Cutler, we'll see how the Spectres respond. This thing is far from over though.
And if you just joined us, Nunawading were leading by as much as 9 points in this game. Likewise, the Tigers were leading by as much as 10 earlier in this game. If you've just joined us for the first time this afternoon.
If you've just joined us, where have you been? You're missing some great action.
You missed a cracking women's game earlier this afternoon.
Penn nearly loses it, but manages to keep possession, and
Penn ties it up.
A little floater. Good response from the Spectres out of that timeout. This is what you want to see. First versus third. KO game of the week. 6 minutes remaining. Tied ball game.
Wilson guarded by D'Angelo. Over to Sykes. Blagojevich. Wilson step back shot 3, no good. 3 men from the Spectres, all one at the rock, and Lobsinger says it's mine. Penn. Try and put the Spectres back in front in this one. Can't on this occasion. He's drawn his foul though, and we'll head to the line for 2 with Dylan Penn to do just that, to put the Spectres back in front in this one. Dylan Penn, 18 points, 1 board, 3 dimes this afternoon. First one does not go down.
It's a replay of Penn's nice take. Not much in it in terms of contact from Blagojevich. Penn takes the free throws anyway and puts his team back in front.
Amos to Blagojevich. Sykes. Purchase. Goes over the top to Sykes again.
And Christian D'Angelo can do nothing but try and get out of the way.
Melbourne back in front by 1. Lobsinger. Box in the corner. Hits the front iron. Wilson's away. He's had a game and a half since starting quiet. Tom Wilson can't get that ball to roll in. We'll head to line for 2. And Tom Wilson, who was cold for the first quarter, has really put on the afterburners after quarter time. Tommy Hirsch.
He certainly has. Massive second quarter, and he's having a really big fourth quarter here as well, as it's the 4th foul on Owen Lobsinger.
First one goes down for Tom Wilson. 34 points to the game this afternoon.
As he usually does, makes a big living at the free throw line.
8 of 9 for Tom Wilson on the afternoon. Make that 9 of 10 now. Shooting at 90% from the foul line is Tom Wilson. Penn puts the wheels on, finds Lobsinger. Gets through Josh Sykes. Box, Grishti. Back over the Penn. Ties things up at 81 apiece.
What a game, Tomo. What a game we are witnessing here. And Dylan Penn has had a really strong afternoon. 22 points now. Done a lot of heavy lifting at times for this Spectres offense.
Wilson with the finger roll.
Now that is too easy. Those two would have gone at it at Melbourne United training a fair bit last season.
37 points there for Tom Wilson. And I mentioned the start of this fourth quarter, Tom Wilson's going to have a 40 game for Melbourne to beat Nunawading.
D'Angelo's shot ends up being an assist to Lobsinger, and we're tied up again at 83.
Purchase. He's going to go for broke here for three. Now he's starting to hit him down, Jack Purchase. D'Angelo quickly trying to catch Melbourne. Now Ben Josh Sykes denies D'Angelo. Here's Penn. Kicks it off to Grishti. Grishti hounded by two. Jump ball called.
Drewy Gaze checked the possession arrow right away, and unfortunately it won't go his way on this occasion, but a great tie-up from Amos there to come and help. Ball will stay with the Spectres. They will have 10 seconds on the shot clock here.
Penn. Inbound here for Nunawading. Long ball is good here for Lobsinger. Got to deal with Bogojevic. Box. He's got to put it up here. The floater. Short. And Melbourne get out of dodge. Well done by Josh Sykes.
Yeah, indeed. Came over to help and did enough just to force Box into an extra high attempt.
Wilson to Amos. Bogojevic. Sykes. Amos. Purchase. Bogojevic. 3 on the shot clock. He's got to put it up here. The former Geelong United did. Too little, too late. Lobsinger's away here for Nunawading. Grishti. It's a box. And looking for assistance by Ben Grishti. And Penn's going to go inside the paint. Bounce off. Rolls in.
That's a really smart play from Dylan Penn then. The first penetration, the spin, and then just the ever so subtle up fake, I should say, to get Purchase to bite. And that's what caused the foul. Penn now with a chance to tie this game up.
Ties things up, as you mentioned, Tommy. 86 apiece.
25 points now for Dylan Penn. The battle with Tom Wilson has been a really fun one here this afternoon.
And probably your two outright favourites for the Foot Locker play of the game.
Wilson may have copped Penn in the face there at one point. Grishti now switched out onto Wilson. Shot clock under 10.
Wilson, long three. 40 points for Tom Wilson.
Huge. 15 in this final term.
Penn. Box. Back over to Penn. Getting through the last of Amos. Foul call. Dylan Penn again. Smartly gets himself in the position. Takes the contact. He's going to head to line for two to try and cut this margin now back to one. But Tom Wilson, 40 points on the afternoon, Tommy.
Huge, and done in a variety of ways as he tends to do. Step back threes, getting to the basket, back cuts, getting to the free throw line. Dylan Penn's done similar, just not to the same volume or extent.
Vital free throw buckets here for Dylan Penn, and he drains both of them.
Penn now with 27 points. Continues to be efficient from the free throw line as well.
Bogojevic. Sykes trying to find Tommy Wilson again. Wilson, deep two, rolls out. Grishti beats Sykes on this occasion. Penn's got the ball in hands.
Chance for the Spectres to take the lead here, Tomo.
D'Angelo almost lost it, did lose it. Wilson Amos was in the right position there.
How about the trust of Andrew Gaze to have Wilson Amos in the game here late, doing a great job defensively.
Wilson doesn't roll in. Rolls into for Bogojevic though.
Penn looks like he copped another whack to the face from Wilson. Nothing called.
Lobsinger. D'Angelo. Going to go three.
Got it. Right back at ya. And this thing's not done yet. Tomo, a minute to go. We are all tied at 91 apiece. So what looked like it was going to be a low-scoring affair early has been anything but that.
What an entertaining Sunday afternoon of hoops we've had here at MSAC for both games, and you've watched them both on Cow Freebies this afternoon. Wilson has to contend with Dylan Penn. Wilson misses. Box gets the rebound. Pan has rock in hands. How much is left in the tank of Tom Wilson? How much is left in the tank of both sides? 26 seconds. Pan. D'Angelo drives. Tries to get through. Hits the deck.
Got a foul call. Looks like it's going to be on Blagojevich.
And Tom Wilson's going to head to line for two to put the Spectres back in front, Tommy.
Christian D'Angelo is going to head to the line for two.
Christian D'Angelo.
There's a replay. Blagojevich just
getting too excited here. My apologies.
No, all good. I got you back. That's the fourth on Blagojevich. And you see on the replay, there's definite contact down low from Blagojevich. He didn't like the call initially, but it's there.
Yep.
And D'Angelo can put the Spectres team back in front.
D'Angelo drops the first one in. Spectres lead by one. This is a real litmus test for them. They miss on that occasion. Purchase gets it from Sykes. They're going to shoot up as much time.
Timeout because it wasn't a dead ball. Tigers got to go here.
Wilson. So you got to put it up here. Sykes to put it in!
And who else but off the hands of Tom Wilson? Penetrates off the high screen action. Sykes rolls beautifully. Wilson knows exactly where his big man's going to be. And a big, big bucket for Josh Sykes, who's got 15 points now. He's 6 out of 7 from the field. But give all the credit to Tom Wilson for the setup there. What a play from Wilson. Only his third assist, but he's made the right plays when he's needed to. We've got an Amy timeout here to the Nunawading Spectres.
And a chance for Nunawading
to
win the game.
Pass. Perfect pocket pass from Wilson to find Sykes down low. See it again here, another angle.
That's a gorgeous camera angle too, by the way. Credit to our entire team for that one. That was a great camera angle of that shot there from Josh Sykes on the replay.
Yep. You see Andrew Gaze talking to his team about how to defend this coverage, where they expect the ball. I would imagine it's going to be probably in the hands of Penn and maybe through Christian D'Angelo here. Watch for Ben Grishti fading or popping potentially. Tigers can't foul. No. They're over the limit. They've got no fouls to give, so they're going to have to play straight up honest defense. They're going to have to communicate, talk. Probably going to have to switch all screens as well. A shot here could win it for the Spectres. A stop for the Tigers can seal it.
We've caught a couple of thrills together on KO Sports, haven't we, in the last couple of games, Tommy, you and I?
Sure have. Box to inbounds. Bring us home, Tomo.
Here we go. Kingsley Box. To inbound here for Nunawading. Chance for the Spectres to cement themselves as a contender with a win here.
Couldn't get it in.
Chance here now for Grishti. He's got to put it up. He puts it up! Oh my goodness!
And he waves bye-bye to the crowd too. He waves bye-bye. Was it a three? I think we're just going to confirm it's been counted as a three, and maybe they'll check the time, but at the moment there's 0.4 left, and Ben Grishti thinks he's sealed it for the Spectres. He very well may have, but he waved bye-bye to this MSAC crowd. What a hit off a broken play. Here's the replay. Definitely a three ball behind the line there. They didn't inbound it where they wanted to and somehow made something of it. Purchase was right in his face, and you can see Grishti there just waving off the crowd. Wow, what a play for the Spectres. What a play for Grishti. What a hit. What a game.
Melbourne are shell-shocked. Ben Grishti might be the hero for Nunawading this afternoon.
Let's see what the Tigers have. They've got 0.4. It is enough time for a catch and shoot. Spectres have a foul to give as well. So they could, in theory, foul on the inbound straight away, but that'll be dangerous because the Tigers will be looking to shoot immediately. Do not want to put them at the free throw line. A 2 would send us to overtime. A 3 would win it. Let's see what we have here. It's Mason Gaze to inbounds, Tomo.
.4 seconds left for Melbourne to do something miraculous. Nunawading iron off their 10th win of the season.
Crowd definitely quiet here.
Gaze. Wilson puts it up. And then another one, Inspectors. Get out of jail. And you talk about a team that had to win against